All right, welcome back to another episode of the Cameo podcast. Really, really exciting episode for two reasons. One, I have a sponsor, and the sponsor is Ready at Door. So if you've ever used Skip the Dishes, this is a local alternative to Skip the Dishes, aka a better alternative because it keeps more money here in the community, which is where it matters. So check out Ready at Door. Two young hustlers, Sachin and I have been chatting a lot, and he's awesome. So support him. Support your local restaurants. Using this local option keeps more money in their cash register, which means more money in this community, which means we can support more interesting things in this town. One such is Payton, who we'll be chatting with shortly. But also we have a video that's going to be live at some point on Facebook. So we're recording it in the past, though, right now, but it'll be up later. So that's the second exciting thing, is we're starting to incorporate some video with this and doing it more on the guest responsibility of sorts, because they can then engage with you guys if you guys have any questions as we converse, right? So if Payton has the time, she'll get back to you, answer your questions. But really what she's here to promote, because it is the 20th of November we're recording it, and in how many days, and what is it called, the race you're putting on?
Yeah, so Brennan's Ugly Sweater Run. It's coming up on December 2nd, so 12 days from today. It's coming up quick.
Yeah, Brendan's Ugly Sweater Run, and you've put it on for a couple years now.
Yeah, this is the second annual.
So for those who don't know you and don't know the story behind the name, do you feel comfortable sharing?
Yeah, absolutely. So Brennan was my brother. He was 4 years older than me, and when he was 10, we were bike riding, and he was hit and killed by a drunk driver. Most of my memories of him come from Christmas time. That was always a really big, important time in our family. So I just decided to put together a run for him in memory of what he loved, which is Christmas.
Yeah, and how many years have you been doing this?
So it's 2.
This is the second year, yes. Yeah, I remember last year was the first year. I remember seeing it. I wasn't able to go. I'm probably not going to be able to go again this year. I apologize. But I'm doing what I can to help promote it. And,
yeah, thank you so much.
You know, what is the altogether message you're trying to share with this race? Because every race has a message.
Yeah, this one's just kind of trying to promote positive community mental health and physical well-being, all while giving back to a deserving cause, which is the Boys and Girls Club's Power Start program.
Okay.
So 100% of every registration goes straight to the Boys and Girls Club's Power Start program, which is a breakfast program for at-risk youth.
Oh, awesome.
And there's about 130 kids in Kamloops currently accessing that program, and it's really underfunded. So last year, our donation fed 30 kids for an entire year. 30
kids, wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, that's like, I'm doing really bad math. That's like a fifth of the kids.
Yeah, there's like a lot of kids were impacted, so it was pretty great. Pretty excited about that donation. So this year we're hoping to do the same, if not better.
Awesome. So. And the Boys and Girls Club, have you worked with them in the past, volunteer?
No. Well, the first time I volunteered for them was this year. Actually, I facilitated an orienteering program to a group of about 19 kids, ages 8 to 12. But before that, I had heard about the program through a friend of mine. And as a kid, my brother and I always wore Boys and Girls Club's t-shirts. I'm not sure where we got them from. I think we probably did a program with them, gained these shirts, and I just kind of felt like that was the cause.
The branding was stuck around. It reminded you of your brother. It was a shirt.
Yeah.
You're wearing your ugly sweater right now.
Yeah.
Now, this is not just a normal race. This is out on some trails, correct?
So it's at the West Highlands Community Center, which is the old Aberdeen golf course.
Okay.
And so it's kind of trail, but also kind of urban. It's a nice mix of the two. So it's stroller friendly. And it'll be hopefully a bit in the snow with a paved trail. The whole route that kind of sets us separate from every other run around is it's fully festive. So there's decorations, there's Christmas music, we have a DJ. Wayne from Runner's Soul is doing an amazing job at the finish line, and yeah, it's really unique.
Shout out to Wayne. I'm wearing my Ultras I pick up on sale. I only wear Ultras now.
They're amazing.
They're great. What do you we're talking about shoes right now for if you're listening. What do you run in when you
Brooks.
Brooks?
Yeah,
They like Brooks up there a lot.
Yeah, I was trying to get a pair of their ugly sweater Brooks, but they're sold out. So
see, Brooks is such an old man
I know.
thing, right? And like, I joke, my wife jokes that I'm Gary from like Jimmy Fallon, like, ew, Gary, because like I'm wearing the camcorder pack and
yep,
whatever be now, but
it's in fashion.
yeah,
it's cool.
It's totally yeah. I just know it's gotta be Gucci and it's gotta be on the front.
Yeah,
but
totally.
yeah. So I've been following your social media, which you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Like,
thanks.
Rocking it. Nice, clean, get the message across. You have unbelievable amount of sponsors.
Yeah. So like sponsorship wise is unreal. Like I have Synergy Counseling, Westco Distribution, Kamloops Electric Motor, Runner's Soul, The Printing Place, Kamloops This Week, Volkswagen, and Fulton and Company. And then I have over 70 prize donors.
Wow.
So it's pretty unreal. We have over $7,000 in prizes and giveaways.
$7,000.
Yeah. It's like amazing.
Like, you busted your butt to make this happen. Like,
yeah.
You're just like cold calling people like a madman?
Yeah, cold calls, emails. Like, I can't believe the amount of community support that's come out of it. It's pretty unreal. And people who will be like, oh, hey, I remember you from, like, back then. You know, I remember the story of your brother, or I knew your brother. And then just other people that just flat out are like, this is cool. Like, I haven't heard of anything like this, so I'd love to kind of support it.
Yeah, like I was walking to pick up that camcorder.
Yeah.
Like, the guy who's selling it, literally, I could walk to, right? and I just happened to have $30 in my pocket, which is what he's asking, so I was able to buy it. And I was thinking, like, holy shit, the last time I went and bought a camera, I drove to Merritt, and if CVSE found me, I would not be here right now.
Yeah.
I threw up on the way there, and I threw up on the way back. So I have my brush with, driving intoxicated.
Yeah.
So, like, what was that like at, like, such a young age? You must have been, what, 7, 8 years old?
I was 6 at the time. Yeah.
Do you remember it that day?
Yeah, I remember it very clearly. I've actually really struggled with post-traumatic stress since, like flashbacks, that kind of thing. And it, I remember going down the hill, and all of a sudden this motorhome went by. And my brother and I always liked finding, like, hidden treasures. Like, we loved going to the dump and, like, finding hockey sticks or something. Like, it was just a highlight for us. And I remember seeing all these bike parts and immediately thought, oh, cool, bike parts. Like, what can we salvage from this? And as I got closer, I started to realize that it was my brother and his bike. And from there, it kind of starts to get blurry. There was a lot. I remember the gentleman that hit him came and walked up, handed his business card, and left.
Fuck.
And so it was like, it was very, there was a lady that stopped, and then a man stopped, and it just kind of was chaos. Someone then got me out of there. And that's kind of the last memory I have of him. From that point on, it was just kind of the, being home and being told he's not going to come home. And it really impacted me, and it impacted kind of who I've become completely. Yeah. So
totally. Yeah, like, I have my own weird understanding of death. It doesn't impact me like it should, right? Yeah. It's I'm only starting to learn maybe how it works, right?
Yeah.
But man, like, 6 years old. So you're putting on a race in memory of your brother.
Yeah.
You're telling me you're in adventure therapy.
Yeah.
So clearly, you've found a method for yourself to kind of find some sort of therapy, or what is adventure therapy? Well,
I find, like, I've gone to counseling extensively, and I'm a strong believer in that. I think even if you haven't had anything happen to you, sometimes it's just really nice to have a unbiased conversation.
I've been recommended for counseling a lot lately.
They're really gifted people that are counselors. They have a special gift for sure. But my kind of therapy was running. That kind of was the first thing I did that I started to go, wow, I really like how I feel after I do this. And then it started to become kayaking. And every time I was out on the water, it was just this sense of calm, and you kind of forget everything else that's going on. So as I did my degree, I did my Bachelor of Arts. I finished last year. I was doing psychology. And kind of felt like there was something else I could do, and I had an opportunity to do a service learning project. So I had this really great sponsor for that, and I went through...
Sponsor, you mean someone said, hey, I'm going to...
I guess supervisor would be a better word.
Okay.
Yeah. I call her a bit of a sponsor because she also sponsored the run and did a lot for me. But I had that going, and from there I just kind of all of a sudden one day was like, hey, can I put on an event? I really feel to do this. And I didn't feel like I was being challenged with the service learning course portion that I was doing, the volunteering. So I went and did it, and from there it was just like, this is what I want to do. I want to explore more how community-based recreational activities actually affect one's mental and physical health. So now I'm doing research on that, and I've gone back to TRU to do more. So
yeah, my buddy Chris did the same sort of program, like the post-back or whatever, where he did it on like, adventure or, education, whatever it be, right? And so he did his post-back, and now he's working on, becoming a teacher at TRU or something along that effects, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of studies that show that it's beneficial, and I can attest to that. I used running to get myself sober from alcohol.
Yeah.
But I was also, smoking a lot of weed and running, so
kind
of messed that up for myself a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I can't get out and run 1 kilometer right now. What do you have to say to anyone who might be like me, who might be concerned about, getting out onto the trails and going for a run?
Kind of slow and steady. Like, start off. If you want to go out, go for a hike. See if you like it. See if you enjoy being in nature. Turn your phone off and really just kind of relax in it. See what your thing is, because maybe it might not be running, but maybe it's kayaking.
Totally.
Maybe it's going and catching bugs. I don't know what it is, but there's something out there that'll be right for you, and you'll feel it, and you'll want to explore it more.
Yeah.
And even if the first time isn't the most unreal experience, keep going back, because I can guarantee it will be at some point.
I think that kind of parallels with podcasting, right? You do it the first time, and like, people think like it's just like a massive success or whatever it be, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, you get a little bit of attention.
Yeah.
And then you do it again and again and again. And for me, I really enjoy the grind, the fight. That's what drew me to ultra running.
Yeah.
Have you run an ultra yet?
I haven't run an ultra yet, no.
Are you going to?
I don't know. I'll see. Like, I did walk in the park.
Yeah.
And that felt like a bit like an ultra for me.
Yeah,
so.
I bailed on that one last minute. Yeah.
Amazing run. But I don't know. I just kind of go out and, like, whatever I feel to do that day, I just kind of do. So sometimes I can be out for 20 minutes and be like, that was enough. And other times I'm out there for like 4 or 5 hours just exploring.
I used to do that 100%. Rivers Trail, Dewdrop Range.
Yeah.
Battle Bluffs I like running because it's like a 45-minute there and back, and it just like destroys you.
Yeah.
Right? It's only like 4.5 kilometers. Like, it's not
But
far.
those hills, you're like climbing over rocks.
And then like, there's like at least 10 paths down. I can never find the same path. And I'm just bombing as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Like, because that's like, it's like the feeling of like skiing or whitewater kayaking.
Yeah.
And then seeing my dog chase after me, it's just like, oh, it's so freeing.
Well, it's kind of like that adrenaline rush, right? Like, we all try and find that adrenaline, whatever it be. And sometimes people find it in, alcohol or drugs. And then you have to get away from that and, like, find it somewhere else. And I find adventure totally brings that for me.
Totally.
There's this huge rush you get. Like, I don't know about you, but do you ever get that rush like half an hour into a run and you just think you could never stop?
See, I believed with the right cannabis I could kickstart that feeling immediately.
Yeah.
I didn't get that runner's high, right?
Yeah.
It's called flow state. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Flow state.
So, like, I'm very knowledgeable of the idea of flow state from my days snowboarding and skiing and kayaking when I didn't drink till I was 18, and I smoked once in grade 9, and I never touched it till I was 18. So, like, I know what the whole, like, sober enjoying all these activities. I grew up with my family, like, backpacking and trailer camping and a whole bunch of stuff, right? It's an amazing feeling. It's just sometimes I feel like that feeling can be enhanced.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother issue, right? Which sometimes comes to the question of, am I impaired or not, right?
Yeah.
But, I can just prove to people what I can do and what I can't do. But
totally.
my wife doesn't like the smoke. we did family photos yesterday, and she stopped me from smoking beforehand. She's like, this time you're not going to be high. Oh, I was so blazed in our Christmas card last year. Oh, my God.
You had your eyes wide open on this
one.
one,
Oh, my gosh. It was really cool because actually it was Melissa D'Agostino who was on the podcast, White Olive Photo, and she just won an award for like... No, she got her photo published in some magazine, so that was pretty cool.
That's sweet. Yeah. That's awesome.
This town's small.
This town's small, but like so much talent comes out of here.
It's powerful, this town. It's just connecting with the right people.
Totally. And you know what, actually, yesterday when you were in Reservoir...
Yeah, we saw each other, and I didn't recognize Payton because we haven't actually officially met until now.
But the gentleman you were meeting with stopped and asked me if I worked for this company because I was doing an ad.
Yep.
And I said, like, no. And he's like, oh, are you a graphic designer? And no. And then he started to ask me more and more questions. And he was like, hey, I'll help you with web design. And, like, right there, it was like we had all these connections. We were talking about, like, hey, have you done this?
You met with Krishna after.
Yeah, just randomly, he started talking to me, and he was like, oh, do you know Nevin? Like, you should talk to him about being on Cameo. And I was like, oh, I'm doing that tomorrow. And then, like, have you talked to so-and-so on the midday show? And I was like, oh, yeah, I have that lined up for next week. And it was all about all these connections, and he was so awesome to talk to.
Totally. See, I'm confused about midday because I have conflicting reports of how you get on there.
Yeah.
But so I emailed them, like, how much do I have to raise? So they haven't emailed me back. I kind of shoot myself in the foot half the time.
Maybe if I remember, I'll try and do a plug. Like, oh yeah, I was just on Cameo. So
no, I'm too aggressive already with my marketing tactics. I've got some cool stuff I'm working on, and so I'm not too worried about it. I'm having fun.
That's awesome.
But yeah, are you born and raised Kamloops?
Born in Vernon and moved here when I was 4.
Okay.
So, yeah, so pretty much.
What like neighborhood?
I grew up in Dallas, and then...
Okay, remind me where Dallas is.
So Dallas, like out by Lafarge.
Oh, right. Okay, yep.
Wildlife Park.
Yeah.
Kind of area. And then when I was probably like 14, we moved into town more, and then moved to Brock, and now I'm in Aberdeen. So I've kind of lived actually like all over, like West Side and...
Seen all aspects of this town.
Yeah. And, you know, like it's... The areas you don't expect are kind of the ones that surprise me the most, like Brock. I love it.
The best neighborhood in town, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. Like, the location's great. It's close to everything, even though people think it's far away.
It's not.
It's flat, so if you like to run,
people are friendly. Like, you know, they smile. They want to pet your dog.
Yeah, no one cares how you park in your driveway or if your lawn's cut to a certain length.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's like it really lets you like have it lets you feel like you own a part of you know, this city, right? Like I own my half of a duplex, right? Like, and it's mine.
Exactly.
Right? Like I can walk around doing work, you know, puffing on my my pipe,